Good morning, and welcome to Let's Talk Business podcast with Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. Today is March the 19th. Man.
Yes, it's almost over, right?
March the 19th, 2021. I am your host, Howard Johnson, Vice President, Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. It says co-host, but I think she's more of a host than I am because she is our president, our leader, our visionary, Miss Leandria Thompson. She will be hosting with me, beside me today.
So that makes me a co-host, right?
Thank you for being here, Miss Thompson.
I'm delighted to be here, and as you know, I like everybody else to be here.
Exactly.
I'm behind the scenes.
She
person.
loves to have other people sitting on this podcast next to me, besides her.
Yes.
Yeah. First off, we want to go ahead and thank our President's Club members, Amico Federal Credit Union, and Enlightening Enterprises for supporting our podcast. We're always looking for more support. We do this by the support of those President Club members. And if you're interested in becoming a supporter of the podcast, you can contact us at 832-875-3977. Again, that's 832-875-3977. So we're going to hop right into it today. Our topic is what's coming. And that strictly means that we're going to talk about the events that we have coming up.
You figured that one out, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I also wanted to thank Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines, they were a President Club member and a President Club sponsor. They still are connected with the chambers and still do a lot for the chambers. Man, I want to thank them as well. We also want to introduce some of our advisory board people.
Well, that's what's coming up.
Okay. All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Next Friday.
Yes.
We have a 20-member advisory board.
Mm-hmm.
And the members from different, we have 4 regions.
Different regions. Yeah.
And we have select people from each one of those regions who are in the community. Mm-hmm. Who are, who support the community. They hear the things that's being said in the community, especially from the business side of it. And our advisory board members the mission is for them to be able to bring information from the community that because each community has its own culture.
Yes.
What are some of the issues that the small businesses and especially chamber members who are what are they experiencing in their community in terms of services, utilization, and then though the advisory board members bring that back to the board.
So they're kind of the census for their community.
Yeah, they're the eyes and ears.
Okay.
Because when we serve 12 counties.
Yeah, you can't be
every and they're the eyes and ears which funnels into our advocacy role as a chamber in terms of our 3. You remember our 3 objectives?
Yes.
Business development. We develop businesses. Business education. So we train our businesses and business advocacy. So when we say advocacy, we're talking in terms of the political arena. Our state of Texas. Well, you have our local governments, state governments, and federal governments. So these are members who have, let's say, committed to bringing us information, keeping us aware of what elected officials introduce what bill. What that bill is about.
That's important. A lot of people don't really think about that, but when the elected representatives are putting bills on the table, if it's something that you wanted, then you got to support that representative, and if that representative brought up something that pertains to you or something that you've been lobbying for, then it lets you know that the representatives that you've elected are listening to you. They hear you, and they're lobbying for you. So,
Right.
yeah.
And when our advisory board members bring this information to us, then it gives us the opportunity to pay attention and bring up, because our legislative agenda is there are things that we oppose and there are things that we support, things that we're asking the elected officials to introduce bills that support our community. And so we have to have information. You can't just say, well, we heard
Yeah.
and it was said. So we use our advisory board members to, what we call it, remember what they did? It's called the facts.
Yeah.
Fact checker.
Fact check.
Our advisory board members are basically the fact checkers.
Okay.
Let us know, okay, this is who did this, and this is the bill that this particular elected representative put in. There's 2 critical bills right now that we are paying attention to.
Okay, what are they?
And one of them, you would ask me that, wouldn't you? Okay, I could give you the House bill number, but I don't have it with me. But one is to do away with the HUB program.
Okay, that would be a mistake.
We oppose that bill. But also, though, however, one of our senators local here has put in a bill to, let's say, to reinvent or restructure the HUB program. So, and we would eventually want to get them on the podcast and kind of have them explain what these bills are about, because we do represent a large number of constituents in 12 counties, and they have a voice. And as the chamber's, let's say, advocacy position, we do have a legislative agenda because it's about business for us. And believe it or not, most of our business owners, and when I say most, I'm only talking about the numbers that we deal with, are not aware of how legislation affects their bottom line, their business. I had a workshop, I did a presentation last night in Galveston County.
Oh, yeah.
And the first question that I asked was, what is business?
A lot of people can't answer that question.
Well, it was a daunting question. These are business owners. And it was like, ooh, I got to think about it. So anyway, from getting back to our advisory board members, we will be introducing them intermittent. We start on next week, and it will be Galveston County.
Okay.
So of course we have Cleveland Lane, who is the he works with he represents AMCO Federal Credit Union. So he has some things that he would be able to share with us on the advocacy role in terms of finance.
And from my understanding of talking to AMCO on the few times they've been on the podcast, they're very active in the community because they're a member-owned federal credit union. So the members are the owners, and the members are that community. So they're very active in the community. So it's good to have them as a advisory board member. So, that was
and I think there's Cheryl Johnson. Cheryl Sue Johnson. And I think she's involved in a lot of the community projects for young people. And then you have Angela
Curry.
Yeah, Angela Curry. And Angela is a business consultant. Curran business consulting, right. And so they bring a lot of information and a lot of credibility to the information that they will be providing us. And then I think every week or once a month we will have the second, our next one would be Fort Bend County.
Okay.
So our advisory board members are coming in representing the counties. So Galveston will be first.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Thompson, a quick question on Hub. How long has Hub been around?
Now, why you want to ask me questions that you
Well,
didn't tell me you were going to
I
ask
have
me?
some ideas, but I don't like to give information that I'm not 100% for sure about. I heard it was President Johnson, Lyndon Johnson, that started it around 1962. Well, it was a derivative of Hub. It was
It was called affirmative
a
action.
program. Yeah, it was a program
Affirmative action.
for historically it was for blacks. It was
It was for
blacks.
It was for ex-slaves
Mm-hmm.
and their descendants.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that was part of the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and it was carried on in other ways to be able to see how to make it actually work. Because you can say things,
Yeah.
but if it doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
no one is involved in it.
Mm-hmm. And then, to our knowledge, has there been any revamps in the Hub since then?
There has been, because what the federal mandate says, that if you have a percentage of minorities, what they call minorities, and who is a minority? You know, I don't use
I still
the word.
argue that.
I don't use the word, because if it means everything but who,
Yeah.
so who are you less than?
Yeah.
So, but they were able to use the word minority.
Mm-hmm.
As I speak when I'm doing presentations, we're business owners.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what business is, you're a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
If you participate in that arena,
Mm-hmm.
the difference is business owners come from different cultural backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get to be? So I think that the thinking was we're not blind.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there have been cultures, ethnicities, ethnic that has been discriminated against.
Oh yeah.
So what happens when you talk about discrimination?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can come in, but you can't.
Yeah.
And the federal government role was, we want everybody's tax money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we get everybody's tax money, then everybody should be able to participate when we are spending their tax money.
Mm-hmm.
And so it became where let's come up with something that we can say it has a program.
Yeah.
And that program can be expanded.
Yeah.
One of the things that they had to do was what was called a disparity. What's it called? You know the words to it. They had to determine that there was a disparity. Oh, it's called disparity study.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's similar to a feasibility study.
It's a disparity study.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's every 2-4 years that they have to determine, have we brought the smaller businesses and ethnic owned businesses that's not being the ones that's being discriminated, because even if you are white, you belong to a ethnicity.
Exactly.
Okay, and that there's so many different ethnicities.
Yeah.
So we'll just deal with the one that we know, and that is either Negro, Black, and the African American is just an oxymoron. You know, I know that's another podcast topic.
Morons
Okay.
of oxys.
Well, think about it. Africa is a continent.
Yeah.
Who comes from the continent?
Nobody.
People. We have people who were born in countries who are members.
Yeah.
Born in different countries: Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana. What did I say? There's a couple more. South Africa, Benin, Liberia. When they become U.S. citizens, guess what? How they're referred to?
African Americans.
No, they're not. They're referred to as Nigerian American.
Yeah.
South
African
African American, Ghanaian American, Tanzanian American. So they're not referred to as African Americans.
even though they came from Africa.
Yes,
I
they were born in
actually,
Africa. We were born here.
I had a friend from Morocco, which is
Mm-hmm.
in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and I always teased her. I said, "See, y'all call us African Americans, but you're the actual epitome of that term. You are the exact thing that term is. You're from Africa, and you're an American citizen.
Yeah.
So you're African American." She's like, "No, don't call me that."
No, she's not that. No, because
she's a Moroccan American.
She's a Moroccan American.
Exactly.
There is no such thing as an African American. But there certain words are put
just
out
call me
there.
black.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind being called. Actually, I don't be in my era. I'm Negro.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you look on Ancestry.com,
you know they had this thing with the N word, right?
Yeah.
But see, they don't understand the whole history of the N word. And because we want to be politically correct right now, we won't give them the history of the N word on this air.
Yeah.
But they would,
not this one.
anybody would be free to come to the chamber, and we will explain the history of the N word.
Mm-hmm.
Because we took it as a derogative word, but if you understood the history of it, it wouldn't have been a problem. But we use it in a derogatory sense.
I had a conversation with my lady about me saying that word or me saying it towards my son. I'll be like, she's like, well, don't say that to him. Don't call him that. I said, I would rather him hear it from someone who loves him and not allow that word to have power over him than to hear it from someone in the street who cares nothing about him, who's trying to belittle him, who's trying to put him down, and it not bother his esteem because it's like, well, my dad used that word. It doesn't affect me to hear you say it that way.
Right, so I don't take it.
I'm taking the power away from it by allowing him to hear it as, and it's not even endearment. It's just me having a conversation, but it doesn't it comes from a place of love versus a place of I'm finna belittle you, I'm finna label you as something
negative,
less than, as a minority.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm glad you're doing that with your son. If your partner can understand it, because what my dad did for me, he picked me up from school one day. I was 8 years old. And he says, well, I got to go to the bank before I take you home. And I'm like, good. I'm ready to go home. And there was some guys standing on a street corner. And they saw him. And they yelled the N-word to him. Now, my heart stopped. Because I figured my dad was going to slam on them brakes.
You knew your dad.
Yeah, I knew my dad. I'm like, oop. And he didn't even flinch. And so, as a curious kid, we was always, you can ask. And I'm like, Daddy, did you hear what they called you? He said, baby, they can call me the N-word all the way to the bank. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense. That word has nothing to do with his self-esteem, what he's about, and what he needed to take care of. Now, maybe if it was a different situation, he didn't have to go to the bank. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it took out the
power. Well, it took out the intent. Because the power is what you make it.
Yeah.
It took the intent out of it.
You're right.
And, I had a lady, and she was a Anglo-Saxon woman, Caucasian woman, and she decided to call me the N-word. And I looked at her. I said, "Ma'am," I said, "if I act 50% of what the N-word actually represents, if I acted like what you're calling me at this particular time, you wouldn't even want to see that." So you have no clue what an N-word is. You have no clue. You have never seen an N-word.
Well,
you've never seen one act up for you, because if I give you 50% of what you saying I am, you're not
what
gonna
you
like
think.
It. Yeah.
But see, I don't even think that people who necessarily it's not in the culture. I don't think they even know what I think that word is being used to get a reaction. they need a reaction.
Yeah.
You know, when people are losing the argument.
Yeah. Well, see, she had already lost because the first thing that was bad about it is she was a homeless lady, and I said, you know what the bad thing is? You look so far down your nose at me. You're homeless, but you're asking me to feed you right now.
Uh-huh.
But I'm the N word.
Uh-huh. So that's what I'm saying. I don't even think
I was like,
historically. I don't even think the people who feel a certain way and want to label it really understand what their whole purpose is by saying it. Because I do remember, and I'm not going to sit here and say that we have not called words. We have not called people certain things.
oh yeah.
You know, we all have these words that we heard as we were kids.
That we used.
We refer it to people. And what does that mean?
Yeah, everybody has their prejudices.
Yeah.
And, I mean, everyone has their prejudice. So to say, oh, you're prejudiced, then people need to stop saying, oh, I'm not prejudiced. I have black friends. Or I'm not prejudiced. I have white friends. Everybody has a level of prejudice that they possess inside themselves.
You know what I've been told for me? It's preference.
Exactly.
Because when you say prejudice, people want to say, ooh, that's negative. I'm not negative. I'm not a bad person. And so I'm not going to, but you do have preference. We all have preference. When you're hiring somebody to work for you, even if they're in your same ethnic group, you have a preference.
Exactly. Because if you come in there with your pants hanging off your butt and a t-shirt and some jogging pants on, yeah, I have a preference. I prefer not.
Exactly. So it has nothing, someone, and I'm just going to be straight up with this. If someone who could not speak English could not understand what I'm saying, I have a preference. I want to be able to communicate to you.
Exactly.
So it has nothing to do with you and your ethnic background.
And not just communicate, but communicate effectively and efficiently.
You got to understand the culture.
You can communicate, you can say hi and bye, and that's communicating, but if it's not effective,
those are
if you
words,
can't say,
Howard. I'm going to straight you up on that.
Yeah.
Them just words. Communication is a level of understanding and receiving.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, but this is, I know we kind of veered off some, but it still all boils down to let's talk business, okay, and what's coming. Because we tell people, we are Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We're in America. We don't discriminate in terms of who can join and who could not.
No.
We are a chamber of commerce. We're American citizens, and even those who are not American citizens but want information and they're in business, and we are able to provide something that satisfies their investment that they would be making as members. The word black for us is a culture.
Yeah, that's it.
We know our culture, and if someone wants to join the chamber who is not in our culture,
we have no preference or prejudice against that.
Because we have a mission. Exactly. What's our mission?
To acquire and disseminate valuable business information, resources, and tools to help member firms to achieve entrepreneurial parity and economic prosperity in the region and internationally.
Okay, you got that on.
And I'm not even in it. The screen not even on.
You didn't read it this time.
Screen not even on. Look.
And so that's our mission. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. However, we must serve what we are aware of in terms of limitations, in terms of there have been some discrimination, in terms of with lack of information. We know that some cultures don't have that information.
Exactly.
Some cultures don't have access to that information. So we must let our ethnicity that we understand know here is a way that you can have access to information, have access to tools and the resources if you are going to go into business. So that's what we're here for. We have members from other ethnicities, other groups,
Yep.
and they come to us for that access.
And we partner with other chambers.
Yes, we do.
And they're not black chambers; they're different chambers.
Because we have because what we do is we provide access, and of course how right now, I think there's a misconception. Sometimes we do focus on the developing the business, helping the business owner understand business, but also I had a deep thought there, Howard. Also,
keep living, Miss
also-
Thompson. It's gonna happen again.
also, you know where it says we got to get you to the money.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And in getting you to the money, it is in public markets faster
Yeah.
than it is in private
private.
markets. That's
The private markets can dictate what they can do. Public markets are funded by
public people.
which
They're
government,
taxpayers.
the taxpayers. If you pay taxes, you have a business. You pay taxes on your business, then you should have access to that public market in the field or business that you operate in.
Well, I think that the census is, oh well, the state don't buy what I buy. The state don't buy what I buy.
Yeah.
State don't buy
What
or
I sell.
use what I sell or produce.
Yes, they do.
They see, this is the misconception.
Yes, they do.
That this is why you've had small companies, one or two owners come in and says we're going to build, the state of Texas need buildings built. We're going to build those buildings, and then they become major companies
And so
because they have a market that's right there.
So for me, when I joined the chambers and I learned about just one site, it was the Electronic Business Daily. When I learned about that, I had a different perspective. I hit the wall, and I looked at the wall and I said, I will never ever have to go without making money in my business ever again, because it was so much opportunity in any arena. The people that are listening, I want you to hear this. Whatever business you are in, there is opportunity for you to make money in that business. Saturation it's there, but it does not stop the opportunities.
Well, saturation, I'm going to butt in here. Nothing is saturated.
Exactly.
Because once it's saturated, it means it's all over.
Exactly.
Okay, so this year they've utilized all the money for this year's programs.
And next year,
But guess what? Next year coming,
Some more
and more
coming.
money. It never stops. You don't stop paying 8.25% tax when you go somewhere to buy something.
That's a good point. Like, a lot of people think, like, you just taught me something else. That's why I always love to talk to you, because I always learn something from you. Saturation. A lot of people say, "Oh, the market's saturated." Well, I just learned today that it'll be all over if it's saturated. So the market's not all over. People still they say this a lot about real estate. The market's saturated with people flipping houses.
Yeah.
There's no such thing, because people are still flipping
But
houses.
ask who puts that information out there.
Exactly. The people that want you to think that it's
Right.
saturated.
Or I've learned through people using that word that's their excuse.
Mm-hmm. People
You that's your excuse for not moving into
moving
it.
forward, yeah.
That's your excuse.
Because it's saturated.
It's just like I used to hear about the HUB program, which is historically underutilized business, and people say, "Oh, that program don't work."
What?
Wait, and I ask, "Well, are you HUB certified?"
No.
No. Well, why aren't you? Well, where did you get that? Well, that's what they said. Who is they?
Yeah. I've been wanting to meet they for a very long time.
They are excuses.
I've been wanting to meet they. Like,
you can
people,
meet 'em.
yeah, they said this. They said. I
I
have been looking for they. I have been looking for they for a very long time.
If you want an excuse, okay, you can meet they.
Okay.
All you got to have is an excuse.
And they is right there.
That's what they.
Okay.
They are the excuse.
That's probably why I've never met them, because I don't make excuses.
I don't have an excuse.
If it's straight to the point. working on the lady house. We couldn't get the cabinet done. It wasn't, oh, well, my guy was sick. I said, man, we can't get your cabinet done today. I can do it tomorrow.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's it. It wasn't an excuse.
There's no
it's
necessary.
just a straightforward truth. That's the fact.
You know what I heard when I keep talking about when I'm 12 and 13 years old, because I can go back.
Uh-huh.
I think about the times that I heard things that were said, and it was just said. But there is a truth in train a child, provide information to that child, so that when they grow up, it may not happen right then, but it'll click.
Yeah.
Because you
even
put
if
it,
they go astray, they'll come back to it.
You put it into their psychic.
Mm-hmm.
And what I heard was somewhere between 12 and 13, excuses are tools to build monuments of nothing.
Oh, wow. That's good.
And I think one of my teachers had to have told us that. Don't come in here with that excuse, with telling me that. Excuses is nothing but tools used to build monuments. Monuments are huge.
Big.
To build monuments of nothing.
Wow.
And I'm like, oops, can't have that excuse no more.
And a lot of stuff stuck with me. Like, my uncle always told me, "Oh, a hard head maker."
South, well, we ended that.
Yeah, and it like stuff like that stuck with me. Like my uncle sat me on the roof and told me about the importance of work, not working a job, just work. Period. Yeah. He was like, you don't want to be like this guy down here sitting over there waiting on the mailman, mad at the mailman, waiting on his mama's check. The mailman running late with his mama's check. He mad at the mailman. And it stuck with me. I was like, okay, I have to work. Not really work for somebody else. Just work. I have to work. So I won't be sitting waiting on the mailman to bring my daddy's check.
You can't. Because I do remember. I go back.
I was 10 or 12.
Okay, so you go back.
Yeah.
Because I remember being 7. An uncle told us we was at the ranch, and they had big barbecues. And this was in Egypt, Texas. I'm plugging Egypt, Texas. And so they would have these big barbecues, and my uncle, I wanted a pickle. They had the big jaws. Yeah. And they had that beautiful yellow sour pickle right there close to the bottom, right? And he said, he saw me looking. He said, "You want a pickle?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Get it." And I'm like, "But I want that one right there." Because you had to put your hand in that jar. Yeah. And he said, "Get it." And I said, "Get it?" He said, "Ain't nobody going to get it for you."
Wow.
He said, "So if you want that pickle, then you got to go get it." I stuck my little hand all down into that jar. Well, then we didn't have no COVID.
Yeah.
So. But my hand went out, and I came up with that beautiful yellow pickle. And at 7 years old, it says, if you want something,
ain't nobody going to give it to you.
Ain't nobody giving it to you. Go get it. Yeah. And you can't. Who's stopping you in America from getting anything that you want to go after?
Nothing. You look around and look at the people.
But you heard the question I said? Who?
You.
I didn't say
you.
I didn't say what.
You yourself.
I'm saying who's stopping you?
Yourself.
Okay.
2 syllables.
That's
yourself.
It. No one in this
else.
country. And I can't speak of other countries.
No one outside of you is stopping you.
Exactly. So if you need to know something, find it out. If you need to know how it works, talk to people. And I get this a lot of times, Howard. Some people don't want to tell you nothing. They don't want to help you. Think
That's
about
right.
it sometime. No.
Some people don't, but somebody will.
I'm not gonna even. Somebody will. Now that's the part that you got to go with.
But
the ones who don't,
keep moving.
You can't sit there and say what they don't want to do. You know what you want, right? Can you speak for them? If you ask them for something and they don't give it, there's 2 things that you got to do. No, I can't. They ain't gonna give it to me. So now I got to keep going. But if you perpetuate the fact that they didn't give it to me, they won't help me, you are buying into that, your own words, your own thoughts. They won't help me. Is that your excuse? Is that your tools to build monuments of nothing?
So, Miss Thompson, for me, I I really was a firm believer. I got a real revelation when I heard that the power of life and death lies in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few key words there. It's the power
Mm-hmm.
that lies in the tongue.
Yes.
And then life and death is, in the tongue. So you can choose to speak life over yourself or you can choose to speak death.
Mm-hmm.
And when I really thought about it and got a revelation on it, I stopped allowing people to speak death over me and accept it. And the simple way I did it is when somebody said, "Oh, that's going to be too hard for you," I don't receive that.
No.
Maybe I don't receive that. And then I didn't even get back to them with something negative and saying, "No, that's for you. That's not for me." I don't receive it, and I kept moving. So I stopped allowing people to speak death over me, and I continue to speak. I'm not going to do it to myself, so I'm not going to allow you to do it.
Right.
And I just continue to speak life into myself.
But you are so right about the power of life and death, the power of who you as a human being comes from your own thoughts, your own speech. I tell people sometimes, if you don't really know how to separate life from death, because death, it does not necessarily mean physical death. Okay, it's don't go in your mind by yourself. You got some stuff up in there.
You might get lost.
You gonna get, you got something up in there.
You come out depressed and upset.
And the reason why I'm saying, because other people don't put stuff there that you have allowed to go in. You have allowed negative thinking or negative words. You don't know they negatives. Sometimes you're just innocent. You're an innocent bystander, and you let these things come into your head. Do not go in your head by yourself because you feel, okay, wait a minute, how am I thinking? All you got to do is ask yourself how you thinking and then get out of there. Run. Because if you thinking negative thoughts, that's cause something that done went in that head.
I used to look in the mirror and tell myself, "Boy, you got a messed up mind. You got a great imagination, but it's some foolery in that."
Because people put it in there. When you were kids, my uncle. Now the things that I'm telling you that I picked up that were like, ooh. There also was stuff that I heard was like, what? Is that how it goes? And then you something that went into your head. And as you start to grow and develop, you start thinking, don't go there. Get out of there. Run out of your head. Now your thoughts, you create with your thoughts. But that's another whole topic for us one day. But so we're going to get back to let's talking. But this is part of a business owner to be able
to go into your mindset, to listen to people. Miss Thompson has been down the road. I've been down the road in business.
Wait. What you talking about road?
Of being business owners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is why this is so funny. But while we're taking a quick break, again, I want to plug our President Club members, Amico Federal Credit Union. We couldn't sit here today and talk to y'all without these sponsors, people. Enlighten Enterprise, they support our podcast. Southwest Airlines, of course. And like I said, if you want to become a supporter, 832-875-3977. Again, 832-875-3977. So, but we're going to continue in talking about what's coming, but what we're sharing with you is this is an hour of transparency about our life. We're talking about life experiences, but we're talking about what molded us in business, what gave us the ideas that we had. We're just talking about our views for business. And I understood, like I was saying, with the Electronic Business Daily that I would never be broke again.
Never.
I might not be a millionaire, but I could always go out and make money.
Now, see, he went in his head.
No.
You said, I might not be.
Might. That's a might.
You said, I might not.
Be, but I am.
What's the word not?
Not is... Like when you tie the rope on the end and pull it, it's a knot.
See, he went in his. That's an example of going
In
in
your
your
head,
head,
yeah. So
thinking I
I
might
did
not
what you
be.
shouldn't do. I did what you shouldn't
Yeah,
do.
what
Right
you
here, right
do?
after I said don't do it. So that goes to show you that we all need to take a step back and look at ourselves and reevaluate, reassess, and
Well,
reengage.
be around other
Yeah,
positive people
exactly.
because they're the ones that's go. You heard of prayer partners.
Yeah.
You've heard of swim partners.
Uh-huh.
There's a reason why two people. And I did a presentation last night, and it was said, well, it's a small group. It doesn't matter if it was one person other than yourself. You remember 2 or more?
Yeah.
All right. So if it's 2 people, that is why one person can say, "Hey, come out your head."
Yeah.
It can always be able to. You can help each other. So if you're in business, there are other business owners who have learned some things that Howard and I have learned.
Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
It's the network.
We can help because
This is
we're
the
gonna say,
network,
"Wait a
the
minute,
circle, the
Stop
circle of
thinking.
other business
That's right.
owners.
Stop thinking like that.
Yeah.
Don't think like that. That's not how you." And then that's all you sometimes need. I'm sitting there as a kid, remember, thinking I can't put my hand through all that water, that vinegar, to get to that particular pickle that I saw that I wanted. I'm thinking as a kid, I can't do that.
All it took was him saying,
All it took was, if you don't get it,
ain't
nobody gonna get it for you. Because he said, I ain't finna get it because I don't want that.
You know, I was having a conversation with a young man who I went to prison. And this young man told me, "Oh, Mr. Howard, man, you're doing better than me, blah, blah, blah. I went to prison. I got prison on me, blah, 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 blah." I said, you want to know the difference between you and maybe 10 or 15 other people? He said, "What is it?" I said, you got caught and they didn't. Doesn't mean they didn't do anything.
What?
It just means that there are people out there, and I said I'm gonna be transparent with you. The difference between me and you is you got caught and I didn't.
Right.
I've done some things that weren't the greatest things in life and
Right.
could have put me in the same situation as you, but I had my opportunities were different.
Yeah.
So
But I'll add into what you're saying is because there are programs now and there's opportunities now that people who are ex-offenders can be business owners.
yeah, very much so. And
Okay.
I recommend
and that's go back to thinking. Whatever your life experiences was, you should have learned something from that experience that will help you to keep moving forward. So if you were incarcerated for 20 years, you learned something.
Yeah.
You learned something. If you stop and think about what you learned about people. You learn psychology. You learn something. Take what you learn and use it. There are people who were married for 30 years, spouse deceased. That's to say, well, now I'm out here by myself and I'm all alone and nothing. No, that's to say, keep moving, keep going. You have experience. You have information that you can share with other married couples who, if you feel that you've had a successful marriage through the good, the bad, and the ugly, you can now share with newly married people to let them know, hey, these are some of the things that I've learned. So if you was incarcerated, you learned something. Give that something that you learned. You know what? As long as you breathing,
you have an opportunity.
The world is your stage.
That's what I tell people. People be like, "Man, how you doing today?" They say, "Hey, I have a good day." I said,
every day.
I woke up today. Every day I wake up breathing is a good day. The rest is just extra. I say I got an opportunity to fix what I messed up yesterday, and if I didn't mess up something, I could mess up something today. So I was like, every day I wake up breathing is a good day.
It's a great day, and take what you've learned. The past does not define
the future
or dictate your future. You are the one who defines and dictates your future in the present. So wherever you are in the present, that's what you can use to start defining or dictating how you want that to happen. Past will never ever do that, but the past is important
very.
because it's a learning tool. And it's one of those tools, Howard, that pats you on the back.
Yep.
Bam, bam, bam. You done made it.
Mhm.
You survived.
Yep.
You
It
should be hallelujah.
It actually
no matter how
humbles-
that past
a
look
lot of
like.
times the past will humble you because you see some people that were in that are currently in the situation that you came out of.
Mhm.
Like a lot of times my past humbles me because I'm like, man, I'm grateful, but it also has formed my character
Right.
because I never look down on anybody.
Well, and as long as you are looking inside of you,
Mm-hmm.
there is nothing to look down at.
Yeah.
Because you're inside, you're looking in you.
Yep.
So you can't look at other. Because when you start looking at other people and start utilizing what other people are doing or not doing, then you done forgot about you. So now you're going to come up with stuff to go in that head
Yeah,
that you're going to go in there by yourself. So if you're looking at you, everybody becomes a wonderful. I'm so glad there's other people on this earth. Because just think about it, you was the only one.
Yeah.
What?
What would you do? Where would you
So
go?
you become grateful.
Mhm.
You start to as you respect yourself, you can respect others, and that's reciprocal.
Yep.
What you send out
comes back.
It does come back.
So
let's see how many more. We got 5 minutes.
We got some time.
No, we got 5 minutes.
We got some time
to talk about
what's coming up.
What's coming up next month?
So
now
month of
just
April.
to recap,
Mhm.
our advisory board members.
Yes.
We have 21
Mm-hmm.
advisory board members. They will be up on our website.
Mhm.
Our board members will be up on our website soon. We're revamping our website so that it can so you can find things pretty much in one place. It will be more compartmentalized than it is right now.
Yeah. And
So
they're all in our business book too. Our 2021 business book.
You can come by our office and get
pick
it.
up the business
Right,
book.
or if you know someone who's a member, I'm sure they will be happy to hand you a business book.
I love my business book.
It's
man.
it's about our members.
Yeah, it's
about business.
It's a big networking book.
Yes, it is.
It has the network and the members. You can see their businesses, the services they offer. So you see all the board members, the advisory board, the things we have coming up. Our gala, March 15th.
That's it.
May 15th.
May 15th.
May 15th.
But before we get to the gala, we do have a sponsor for the month of April.
Is that MD Anderson?
That's MD Anderson Cancer
MD Anderson
Center.
Cancer Center.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is also a member of the chamber.
Okay.
And what has transpired is that there's a lot of information in terms of cancer prevention, awareness mainly, and they want that information out there because it is important that we are aware of how we're living and what are some of the things that come along that we can be able to handle. And we do need people who exist for a reason. So when we have doctors and they exist for a reason. So they will be coming on. We'll be talking about cancer awareness the whole month of April.
Yeah, I've seen their billboards around. Like it'll have MD Anderson. The word cancer will be there,
scratched
and
through.
It'll have a red line through it.
Yeah,
and
they
just
want to
says
eliminate
center.
that.
Yeah,
and to eliminate it is it's a conscious, a very conscious effort to do that. So they will be coming.
And informed.
That's it.
That's
and
what
they
conscious
will be there. And because MD Anderson will be on the month of April, we will also have our healthcare providers who are also members of the chamber. They will be as well. It'll be interactive for that month. And then
our
gala.
Our gala and the Business Choice Awards.
Right. It's
in
Business May.
Choice Awards and
however, in April we're going to introduce
the people.
I think it's the beginning of May, end of April, beginning of May. Okay. We will be showcasing our honorees. So we're not going to tell you who they are right now because we're in the process of nominations and notifications. And but by April, we'll know who those.
We'll know, and then you'll know.
Yes.
And then also, I want to plug GMT Radio, man. We really appreciate Nice. Nice is a member of the chambers as well. www.gmtradio.com. Podcasts, videos, music, commercials, pretty much anything you want to do in media. Man, Nice, they call him Nice for a reason because he nice. So www.gmtradio.com. And you can also download the GMT Radio app, Android or Apple. You can download the app and listen to the podcast live. You can listen to the podcast live.
Our Let's Talk Business podcast would not exist without GMT Radio.
Exactly.
Okay, so we do appreciate GMT Radio.
Yep.
And every week, without fail. Matter of fact, we have an anniversary, don't we?
Yeah, we have one coming up. Yeah.
Nothing came up.
Yeah, it did. Actually, it came and passed because I sat with Tabitha and
back
Dave,
in February,
Dave Taylor, and I was on that show with Tabitha then, so it was a year from there.
Black History Month.
Yeah, it was a year for Black History Month, so it was probably January.
Yeah, so
we missed it.
I will tell you, we got a few compliments because a couple of our members who are corporate level members, they have said to us, wow, you guys are the only Chamber of Commerce that we are aware of that have a podcast. So I'm like, well, we probably won't hold this throne for long because, this is America.
Yeah.
What's America? Capitalism.
Yeah.
What's capitalism? Free enterprise. What's free enterprise based on? Competition.
Yep.
So that's where we are.
And but we don't view it as competition because
no, it is.
I don't. It is, but
well,
we provide something different
I'm gonna help you.
Than other chambers.
But that's why when you're competitive, you have to have an edge.
Yeah.
You have to have something. And as you think, I don't know if you're familiar with Burger King and McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
The reason they are able to provide more to the public is because they are competing. So, we had the home of the Whopper.
Yeah.
Well, McDonald's just had a plain old hamburger.
Yeah.
But guess what? They came up with the Big Mac. So it's always going to be better because that's what competition does. Competition make you get better and better and better. You accept. When we say competition, we're not saying compete negative. See, people have taken the word.
No, competition is not a negative
people have taken the word that competition is negative. No. In free enterprise, you have to be competitive.
Very much so.
That's what. Otherwise, you got these two teams. Let's say the Cowboys and the Texans. Okay, both of those teams are playing in a game.
Yeah.
But guess what? Guess who lose the game?
Who?
The spectator. Because you for the Cowboys and I'm for the Texans, right? And we want one of them to win, right? But guess what? They both getting paid, ain't they?
Exactly.
They're both getting paid. So
every single time they go by.
For them,
it's a win-win situation.
Right. And for them,
whether they lose, they still getting paid.
But you know the term? It's not about winning or losing. It's about how you play the game.
Exactly.
So for them, they're playing their best game because they're going to get more money individually. Okay? So we got to look at business and these are two teams.
As a competitor.
They're competitive. And they have strategies and they got defensive coach. They got an offensive coach. They are playing that game. And when we come into business, we got to learn. It's a game.
And that kind of goes back to you talking about them wanting to do away with the HUB program. That program allows small businesses to compete, to be competitive with the larger corporations.
It allows for that. And I think that should remain
the same.
Because it does not necessarily mean that you will. But the thing is, why people don't. If you knew, I have to tell you about my mama. my mama would read the paper. All we read is the funny part. The funny, And she would say, oh, I need to go to Kroger's over there 10 miles away because they got 20 cans for $1. And I'm like, well, the Kroger right here.
They don't have 20 cans for $1.
Right, but it's going to take me some gas to go over there. But the deal was, what I had to realize, she was aware that over there, in that neighborhood, you could get 20 cans
For $1.
for $1. Over here, you could only get 6 cans or maybe 5 cans for $1. So it's awareness. And if you're not utilizing the program, it's because we're not aware. Our role as a chamber in terms of advocacy is to make these smaller businesses aware of the fact that there is opportunity in public markets. And public markets is only a market that uses public money to buy to spend the money on whatever it is they're going to spend it on for the people. Okay?
Yep.
So the state of Texas collect taxes. Are you a business owner?
Yep.
If you're a business owner, what can you provide to the state of Texas? And we don't want to hear excuses.
Yeah, the monuments of nothing.
Yeah, we don't, because all you've done is build monuments of nothing. Big old monuments. And they are nothing. So don't take the excuse out of it. If you want to be a business person. Now there's a difference between being your own boss and owning a business. Or let's just say having interest or owning stock in a business. It's not being your own boss. Because you know that's a harder job. You can make some money very easy working for somebody else. Okay. But if you have value to yourself and you feel that your value can make a whole lot more than the value that is put on you as an employee, but you got to make that decision.
Yeah.
And it's not about, I want to be a businessman. Or I want to be a businesswoman. I want to own my own business. Okay. Well, we're here to help guide you.
Exactly. Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. Reach out to us, 832-875-3977. Tri-County Regional Black Chambers.org. We also have a Facebook page. This has been Let's Talk Business Podcast with your host with the most. No, I just wanted to say that, but with your host, Howard Johnson, and the Vice President, and your other host, which is the co-host, Miss Leandra, our President. Again, we're going to thank our President Club members, Amoco Federal Credit Union, Enlighten Enterprises. Talked about what's coming up March the 26th, same time, next Friday. We'll be here. Let's Talk Business Podcast.
Go and make some money today.
Exactly.